Welcome to the Self-Care Your Way to Success podcast, where we highlight the success journeys of successful entrepreneurs and professionals. Today, our guest is Markiesha Wilson. She is a multifaceted professional serving as management consultant and leadership coach, a captivating speaker. She's a very accomplished author. I have personally read 2 of her books and attended an executive training retreat and personally received some coaching from her. And so I'm ever so grateful and so excited about this interview because it is near and dear to me.
I support going to therapy.
I do too. A discovery that I made in therapy, just in conversations with my therapist, was she said regret is like wasting your current time to try to redo the past and get new results out of the past. And that resonated with me so much that I felt like I just hit this wall of realization. Like I'm literally wasting life that I could be using towards creating a new story, a new chapter, trying to redo one that I have no control over the results of. So I love that for you. Thank you for sharing these nuggets of wisdom. My audience is definitely going to benefit from it. I have like 1 to 2 more questions. One question I love to ask, and I'm very curious to hear your answer, is what is one piece of advice that you would give your younger self when you first navigated into corporate management? It sounds like you had a natural knack for it. I'm just telling you, just based on the way you think and you maneuver, it sounds like you just came with a natural flair, a natural knack, but we also become these things, we develop in the process through our careers. So what's the one piece of advice, if it was just the number one, that you would have given your younger self with what you know now?
Well, shoot, I would have told her to shut up for one. I'll be honest, Markiesha, stop talking. But let me fix it a little bit better than that and say, if you can't fix it, feature it. That was a piece of advice I got from a gentleman. He presented assistant director of admissions at Towson University, where I went to undergrad, and he came in to help us with our presentations, and I was the youngest on staff. Like I was literally 21 years old. Everybody else on staff was 30, 40, 50s. And I did my presentation, and he said, you have an MTV style of presenting, right? And that was that was a big thing. He was like, it was MTV style. And I was like, okay. And everybody was very stately in their presentation, so on. And I said, and he said, well, listen, if you can't fix it, feature it. And that stuck with me from 21 until in every position I was ever in. That would be the advice I received, but I should have taken. If you can't fix it, feature it. So when I was struggling, try to assimilate into cultures that did not look like me, did not feel like me, did not dress like me, I should have taken that advice. If I can't fix it, feature it. Stand up, be who you are. You don't have to wear every outfit from Ann Taylor because everybody else is, right? Yeah, but I did because I thought I had to. So if you can't fix it, feature it. And now I really operate in that now. Like you see me showing up as myself now. But in my younger days, I was wearing braids and giving you a full dissertation as to why I had braids in. I just have them in because it's vacation. I'm just doing it because I was always apologizing and trying to fit into what I thought things would help me succeed. But full transparency, Ken, some of those things were necessary in those cultures. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie, some of those things were necessary. But if I could have told my younger self, feature it, I think I would have not gotten an ulcer, maybe not had a bald spot in the back of my head.
The stress.
Yeah, the stress of that.
Yeah. And it's so common for in corporate spaces, Black women to be put into places where you literally don't see anybody else like you for years. Maybe one, and they work in a different department.
Yeah.
They don't even work in the same office, the same department. You may not even interact with them on a daily basis or weekly basis. And so I understand wholeheartedly your experience. And I think this conversation needs to be had more openly It is starting to be talked about with the recent, what was it? I think it was the hair bill. They had a bill passed in 2018, just about discrimination with hairstyles and people not being hired because of the way their hair naturally grows from their head, or what may be cultural styles for them to wear, and what professionalism actually looks like showing up just as a human being from a diverse, culture, or a minority ethnicity or whatever. And so it just speaks volumes in how recent actual litigation and legal changes have gone into play to protect people's abilities of self-expression and authenticity in the workplace. As recent as 2018, it shows you just how big of an issue it has been for a long time, and how it's been swept under the rug, how we deal with it quietly. It's the elephant in the room for us, and I feel like other people need to develop more sensitivity to the fact that we're gonna want a desire to wear certain fashions, certain hairstyles, certain looks, and it makes sense to us. It doesn't have to make sense to people if we're showing up clean cut, professionally doing our job. Yeah, so that would be a whole nother podcast.
Oh yeah, that's definitely. Yeah. Oh my God. Because when did and why was it ever acceptable for old white men to be wearing comb overs?
Because it looks,
and no disrespect to all of the old white guys, because some of them have been my best mentors and allies. But for real though, why is a comb over okay, but I can't wear a long fake ponytail?
Yeah, either way, it could go either way, because they both look a certain way depending on the person who's looking.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing. I'm excited about that lesson for you. And I think that so many future professionals and future entrepreneurs need to hear that, because early on in my journey, venturing out of working in corporate America into business ownership and development, I saw myself trying to look for images or these pictures or this guidance for what does my journey need to look like, instead of just realizing I would figure out what the journey would look like along the journey.
Yes. And it evolves, and understanding that it evolves. I have learned in my entrepreneurial journey, and Ken, I don't know if I mentioned this to you, but this is my second time being a business owner. So I started my first company several years ago, like in 2004. Right.
Yeah. I believe you mentioned it briefly at the retreat, but we didn't really dive into it.
Yeah. And so I had a lot of lessons learned. And that first time I was thinking, I'm going to jump out here, I'm going to do all these things, and I'm going to be a replica of what I was while in corporate America, because that's what will sell. And that's what I believed. But when I stepped out in 2020, I said, I will be a replica of Markiesha Wilson only. I will only be authentic. I will show up wearing exactly what I want to wear when I want to wear it. And so I had been able to make that shift. And that came with maturity, that came with understanding that I could be successful being Markiesha Wilson and not trying to be the manufactured version that was on a resume and on a LinkedIn page, right? That I could just be myself, and people would buy that brand. So it took a minute to understand that and to be confident in that. And I will tell you, it was such a journey, and maybe other entrepreneurs, here in this podcast, this will resonate with you. If you've had multiple websites, that's the indication that you are evolving, right? Because I remember my first website, my designer and branding person, she was like, "You're the brand." I said, I don't want me. Don't put me anywhere on there. Don't put me anywhere on there. That was iteration 1. Iteration 2, I was like, well, just one picture on the About Me page. Iteration 3, you click on wilsonchapman.com or go to markieshawilson.com. I'm there, like, bam, what you want.
Yes.
But that is the evolution of understanding that I am the brand, I am the product, but it took time to get there. And so for people who are new in your entrepreneurial journey, understand that it might take time for you to grow up to that. And others of you might be jumping out there too early, being honest, because in the beginning, what sells in the consulting world that I'm in is your credentials and your experience, not you. People are still buying the brand that you were associated with.
They are.
Absolutely. I worked for Booz Allen Hamilton, Accenture, and Deloitte. You think in the beginning people were just like, ooh, now people know Wilson Chapman, a combination of those things, and even better because I have all this other experience internationally and so on, an author, and I am, defining who I am in the corporate space. So I think recognizing the journey of evolution through entrepreneurship is important as well.
Several things have been heavily impacted since the start of 2025, and it's definitely the availability of resources to support women in business. And a lot of people are being financially impacted by the changes in the various markets, by the weakening of the US currency. And so I decided to do a thing, okay? I started a virtual business through E1U Life, an AI automation company that helps you manage your business with the support of artificial intelligence. Not only do they offer you the tools to manage your business, they also offer you a way to diversify your investments through earning Bitcoin on autopilot. When I tell you I have been earning Bitcoin in my sleep, it surprises me, okay? And right now, E1U Life is having a very, very special entry point where you can start your business for under $30. And you can start to learn how to navigate managing and automating your systems with AI. You can get the support that you need, but not only can you support your business, you can turn your AI systems into a business to help other people. So you can create a new stream of revenue, you can earn Bitcoin on autopilot, and you can also automate your business processes. I don't want to give it all away because when I tell you it's such a huge, huge, big thing, it's such a huge gift that keeps giving. I want you to click the link, even if you aren't sure if you want to start a business through E1U Life. I want you to click the link so that you can at least educate yourself on the opportunities that are available to you. For less than $30, you can start your business today. You can start earning Bitcoin to beat the rate of inflation of the US currency, as well as start learning how to automate your business.
Entrepreneurship is important as well.
Absolutely. And I definitely believe becoming is an endless process. It's just we are always becoming. We're always becoming the next thing. Once we arrive, arrival really isn't a destination, it's a part of the journey as well. It's just a process.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And what I hear in the evolution, your growth and your confidence, I also hear just building trustworthiness and within your relationships and in your community and within your network. I think a lot of times I come across young entrepreneurs or early on entrepreneurs who think that people, I don't want to necessarily say owe them something.
Yeah, no, you're saying it right.
They have a level of entitlement and they don't realize people might sit and watch for a year, but they want to see how consistently are you going to show up with your same belief principles, your same energy, your same message, your same expertise before you become that individual brand beyond what your foundational credentials are. And I think so many times people quit just before they get to a space where they would have done enough to remain consistent in the eye of the audience, in the eye of their community, in their circles, and in the networks that they need to work within. And they just have this expectation that just when they decide something's good and that they think the world needs it, that the world just automatically is going to want what they're offering. And so I notice that so much, and I try to tell people, stay the course, be consistent. Someone is listening. They may just want to see how dedicated are you to your message before I can become a part of it, And so many times it's just that it's time, it's consistency. Get it over that hump, because that spark, when it catches on, other people believe your message, other people believe in you, other people look forward to seeing what you put out with your brand within your business and your niche. They're just waiting to build that trust. So I love that too, that you stayed the course, not only to build up your confidence, who you were as a brand, but also to build that relationship and that trustworthiness and that consistency.
Yeah.
So many people don't. Yeah.
And that's what brings the opportunities to you instead of you chasing them, is once you've built that who you are. And in some ways you're doing that tactically, with the, all the branding stuff, your website, you're this, you're that. But really what makes it all happen is that you're building it authentically, one relationship at a time. Because the reason that I have been blessed with success in corporate America is the same reason that I'm blessed with success as an entrepreneur. It is because somewhere back in 7th grade, I figured out how to be a friend and make friends, right? I say 7th grade, I think it started sooner, but I say 7th grade because Mr. Lynch, my English teacher in 7th grade, put a comment on my report card that said, with a personality like that, she will go far in life. Mr. Lynch in 7th grade, I was one of 3 Black kids in the school, me, my brother, and sister. And so reading that, I was like, I didn't fully understand, but I knew it was a big compliment. And I was like, a personality like what? And so I have sought to be a friend. I'm a coach because I learned how to be friends of leaders. That came easy to me, right?
Yeah.
I was always able to talk to executives for some reason. I was a waitress back in the day. And I remember talking to Mr. Fox, the manager, and I was like, Mr. Fox, I really think people would bust the tables faster if you weren't yelling. I just got to be honest. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I became a friend to Mr. Fox. He's like, what? I was like, just being honest, I think you look like nice in this suit. So one relationship at a time. So I was a friend of Mr. Fox. So I got to be a waitress. I mean, these things occurred consistently. I'm a supporter just naturally. So like I'm saying, like sometimes I think, and I'm not a social media person. I think that people, born in this genre of social media have a weird view of friends, right? They're numbers, that they're friends on here and that they're not relationships. And so people think that, I have all these followers and this and that, and that's why I'm going to be successful. That's not it. It's one human at a time, and being who you are and showing up that way, like you said, consistently. This is the person I've been. I'm a little more, I'm going to say clear, authentic than my younger self, more emboldened probably. But this has basically been the person I've been.
Well, it's wonderful. And I can truly tell that Mr. Lynch, he was a genius. He knew what he was talking about.
Mr. Lynch.
It's like your journey of self-discovery started with a source of motivation. So
yes, and it's continued that way.
Yeah, that's wonderful. That's beautiful. So I would love to keep you here all day because
I got work to do.
Tell of your life.
I'll come back.
As an interviewer, I truly am intrigued by just the stories, the experiences, the wisdom. I've learned so much on this journey with Self-Care Your Way to Success podcast. I'm so grateful for amazing guests like you, Markiesha, who come and you share your nuggets of wisdom, your time, your one non-renewable asset. You could be investing in so many other places, and I thank you for trusting me with it. And I want to close out the podcast with just 2 things. One, I want you to share something if you feel like you just absolutely it's in your spirit, you feel the need to share it as your closing statement. And also, I know you're not big on social media, but share some information with us on how the audience can find you and connect with you if they feel compelled to.
Yes. Okay. So I'll say that one first. I'm on LinkedIn for sure under Markiesha Wilson and under Wilson Chapman, and on Instagram, Wilson Chapman Coaches. So that's WilsonChapmanCoaches on Instagram. My closing statement would be, because I'm not sure when this podcast is going to air, but I'm confident it's going to air within the next 4 years. And so my earlier statement about keep your noses in the air and your knees on the floor is what I want to leave your listeners with, because there is a lot coming at you in every way possible right now, emotionally, physically, financially, professionally. A lot of things are being hurled at you that will make you question who and whose you are. And I want your listeners to know that if they stay focused, keeping their nose in the air, which means that head is up, pointed towards God for direction, guidance, provision, support, and knees is on the floor, you keep seeking guidance, then we're going to all be okay and better than okay. Because in everything, we're more than conquerors.
Thank you so much for sharing that. I'm definitely going to leave this interview with that and being mindful of it. And I'm going to do a little excerpt in the climb journal from my audacity retreat. I have it right here. I would grab it, but it's a little far off screen, but I absolutely love it. And I want to encourage the audience to pick up your publication in the climb, which has been amazing to me with those 8 audacious actions that can help anybody just in personal development and development as an entrepreneur and professional, and as well as the special edition of the Cracking the Rich Code. Those are definitely 2 publications that you need to have in your library. So I want to encourage everyone to do that. And I want to thank you again, Markiesha. I hope you have a wonderful Wednesday in January and 2025. And you'll be the first to know when this episode is getting published. So thank you again. I appreciate you so much.
I appreciate you, Ken. I just want to say thank you. And for your audience, we did not coordinate wearing our power pink.
We didn't.
But this is Audacity's color, which is power pink. And Ken, you are powerful. I thank you for sharing that power with such grace, with such wisdom, with such beautiful, loving energy. Just thank you so much.
Thank you. And likewise. Have a good evening.
You too. Bye now.